today.
Except for my orange bike. My orange bike clashes with me a little bit today.
Your helmet matches your shirt.
I know, which matches my gloves. Hello, all you beautiful people. It is another day here in Tulsa.
Another day?
Just another.
You mean it's not yesterday?
Just another day.
All right. So, we haven't made a video. We didn't make a video last week. I'm going to blame MrsNutt.
Oh, I'm
Her
just
fault.
going to say life happened. And,
Life happened.
That's what it is.
So today we're going to talk about some lids. And I want to preface this before we do our little intro. I fucking hate wearing a helmet. I do. And I know there's all kinds of reasons to wear a helmet. I mean, I know that. You know, I know that there's the bullshit that I used to tell myself when I was young was bullshit. But I love riding with my head in the wind. I mean, this big old melon, I just love it in the wind. And I hate the restrictions of a helmet, but because we like to communicate when we ride, and
it is safer.
It is safer, I guess. And in all honesty,
so much crap on the roads.
Yes.
But, oh my goodness, when you ride without a helmet, you get just...
Right. It's really is. It's really the crap on the roads more than it is anything.
That's my biggest thing. When I do without, I'm like, I love this on the streets. Get on a highway, and it is horrible. All the little pieces of dust and dirt and sand that just fly at your face, just awful.
And this year, the fucking bugs. I'm telling you.
The
bugs are crazy and insane this year. So, without further ado, let's roll the intro, and we'll cut back and we'll start reviewing some lids that we've gone through over the last couple of years.
When we started riding again, back March 2018-ish, we were totally anti-helmet. Like MrNutt said, he's totally against helmets. It's the reason he stopped riding when he lived in California 20 years ago, before we ever even met. So we were anti-helmet. We like to feel the wind in our face. We just were anti-helmet. So at one point we thought, okay, maybe for traveling through multiple states, you have to have a helmet in certain states. So we bought half helmets. And then he bought a Street Glide. And the Street Glide, he bought the Street Glide CVO, and it came with the comms, the Sena comm device to talk. So we thought, okay, I guess it makes sense to buy helmets. So he bought a full face, I think, at that point, and we bought me. We just tried to attach the little earpiece and the microphone. That did not work. So we went and bought me my first full face helmet was actually an Icon, which I don't own anymore. It was so pretty. It was like peacocks, and it was just the prettiest helmet ever. But so it was super loud. It overall, I didn't know how good quality or not quality it was at the time. It was probably an average priced helmet, I would guess, somewhere in the $200 range. So, anyways, as I started riding my own bike in July of 2018. We shifted helmets, I don't even know how many times it seemed like. So he bought me, the first helmet I really liked was my Schuberth. It is the C3. It is a ladies helmet, so it's smaller in general. It's purple inside, which is so pretty. It's a modular, so the top pops up. I mean, it's purple. Who doesn't like purple? It's gorgeous. The problem with this helmet is summertime does not breathe. It does not have good ventilation. I died. It has this vent pops this open, and then this chin vent, and that's really all it has going on. And that is just not enough ventilation for me. I need air on my face. Even when I drive in the car, my air conditioner vents are blowing on my face. So we moved to a 3/4 with the shield, and this is what I ride in summertime with, because it's the only thing that gives me enough air and enough circulation around my face not to just die. So it's, I mean, it was an inexpensive helmet. I think it was like 130 bucks. Obviously, it's, you know, it's still, they're all still DOT rated. It just is what it is. I have an extra small because I have an extra small head. We were able to put the comm unit in. Horrible in the rain. Oh my goodness, because it's got horrible in the rain. When we rode across country last year, we got stuck all the way across Kansas riding in the rain, and that was about the worst thing ever. The helmet I currently ride with, that you guys have seen me in all my videos, is the Shoei RF 1200. And this helmet I really love, and up until even right now, I probably will start switching back to my 3/4 as the days get to be 100 degrees and we ride. But so far I haven't switched yet. It's got decent ventilation, it's a full face, it's got the transition shield, which I really like. I'm a big fan of transition shield. It's got the chin that pops down. It's kind of stubborn, which is annoying. It's got the forehead, and then it's got 2 other vents, and then it's got the rear pull-through vent, and it does a fairly decent job. It really does. The Shoei also comes with a removable chin curtain, which in the winter is fantastic because it keeps all the cold air from hitting your face. In the summer, you remove it and it gives you a little more flow, which that's how I'm surviving so far. But again, I'm just not sure that just removing this is going to be enough for the Oklahoma summers. It will remain to be seen at this point. So those are the helmets I've gone through at this point. I really do like my Shoei. The Schuberth is such a nice quality. I mean, you can tell the quality of Schuberth. It's in the range of a $600 to $700 helmet. This one is also, my Shoei is also about I think it's between $400 and $500 helmet. And of course I got the fancy one, so that was a little bit of an upgrade because I wanted to be prettier than just black. I like to be girly on my bike. So that's just me. So now we will take a look at MrNutt's helmets.
Okay, so this is a video I really didn't ever want to do. I never saw myself. Maybe I'm old. Am I old? So I'm wearing helmets now. I never wore a helmet as a kid. I mean, I rode all through my teens, 20s, up until my mid-30s, and I never wore a helmet. I think California had this really weird thing on their helmet law. It was like a progressive thing where the first time you got caught, it was like 50 bucks. Second time it was 100, then it was 200, like doubled every time. And I think the fine got to be a couple of $1,000, and I decided, all right, fuck this, I'm done, but I would not buy a helmet. So I started selling my bikes at the time, and I kind of lost a little bit of my love for riding because I really do love that free feeling. I understand why people ride without helmets. I know the risks. The truth is, when it comes to those risks, every time you get on a motorcycle, you're taking a risk. And I understand you should probably try and downplay those risks as much as possible. But for me, the reason I wear a helmet primarily right now is communications. So when I first started riding, just like MrsNutt said, we started with the half helmets. And the problem with the half helmets is, I think, I'm sorry, you guys that have to wear them in states where you don't want to wear a helmet, I think they look stupid. They don't look good on me. And they're like fucking sails on your head. I mean, they literally will catch the wind from the weirdest angle and twist your head in the weirdest direction. And my first helmet was the Schuberth C4. And I bought the Schuberth C4 because it came with a built-in comm system. Again, I was kind of new to helmets, new to comms. The comm system in this helmet, if you don't buy it for that, it blows. I basically tore out all of the speakers. I put in my own speakers for the comm, and I mean, literally the comm system comes with this thing. The microphone's located somewhere up here in the brow line, and people can never, ever, ever hear you. As far as ventilation goes, kind of like MrsNutt said earlier, the Schuberths do not ventilate well. What I really liked about them is they were made for cruising and touring. Their position is for an upright rider, and you can kind of see that their chin bar is really, really small. So you get a really good field of view down when you're sitting in an upright position. So I did like that. The helmet is really quiet, for a modular especially. And I was kind of sold at the time on the modular helmets for a lot of the convenience reasons of modular helmets. You know, when I was looking for an upgraded helmet or a change of helmets from the Schuberth, it's really not an upgrade. That Schuberth is an expensive monster of a helmet. Harley had released its FXRG helmet line for, I believe, 2019, 2020, somewhere in there. I think it was 2019. And they made a partnership with Arai, and I believe this is the Arai Defender helmet. And even though it is more expensive in the Harley branding, I decided I wanted the Harley branding on it. So I went ahead and paid the price. This helmet, man, I got to tell you, I expected better. I am not happy with this helmet at all for a lot of reasons. A, it is not very quiet. For as uncomfortable as it is, it's pretty loud. Secondly, where I always had a problem is I don't like wearing sunglasses with my helmet if I don't have to. And this doesn't, because of the Snell rating, it can't have the inner slide down shield. The Schuberth has it, and it's a European helmet for the most part. It's sold mostly at BMW dealerships. This didn't have it. Okay, so the Arai FXRG, it comes with this. It's basically a replacement face shield that has the sun visor on the outside. And it is kind of, I mean, it tilts up, it doesn't really get in the way, it really isn't distracted by the wind. But there's two conditions on this that I don't like. One of them is that if you get sun behind you and it reflects off the bike, it comes up through the bottom of the shield and right in your eyes. So you have this blank space in here. And in all honesty, it's a little distracting sometimes. That space just kind of will catch something out of your peripheral. I found it to be tremendously annoying. It also changes the way that the brow vents open up. One thing about this helmet that I should probably mention are the brow vents. It has these brow vents that are in the shield, and they actually channel air back to your temple area. And it's actually a pretty decent ventilation system in fall, spring. In the summer, it just does nothing. And my head just seemed to bake in this helmet. So I was dissatisfied with it. And then MrsNutt did me the great favor of dropping it off my bike. So it bounced on the ground and got all scratched up, and it gave me an excuse to go looking for another helmet. I did a lot of research on helmets for this one. I'd been riding with helmets then for about 2 years, and I'd kind of gotten the preference of what I wanted. And one of the things that MrsNutt had on her Schuberth was the transition shield. And I was really, really envious of the transition shield. You just ride, and it tints when it needs to tint. It becomes light when it needs to become light. And I really loved it. I mean, I love the idea of having a blacked out shield during the day anyway, so that you can't see inside the helmet. And I hate wearing sunglasses with the helmet. So that was one of the reasons that I really started looking at the Bell line, because Bell has their DLX helmets, and all your DLX helmets come with this really cool transition shield. The other thing that I started studying was the field of view on this helmet. I've not ever worn a helmet in my life that had a field of view like this, where literally inside the helmet, you can't see the helmet on your sides. I mean, you see a full field of view all the way around. And I really liked that. I've seen a lot of reviews, and if you want a review on, this is the Bell Star DLX MIPS. The MIPS system is a safety system. Again, if you want information about how it works as a safety system, there's 20, 30 videos out there about this helmet. I can just tell you, one of the things I've not seen anybody review on this helmet, and I kind of discovered it by accident. Inside the chin vent, there are two holes on the inside that allow the chin vent, rather than venting and coming up through the shield, it basically opens it up so that the chin vent vents right onto your face. And it comes with this little rubber thing, and if you haven't seen it, I've not seen anybody review this and talk about this. You can pull this out, and it changes the vent. You still get a little air up the shield, but you get air directly on your face, and particularly directly on this area of your face, and it kind of comes in and flows through the helmet. It is probably the best summer riding experience I've ever had in a full face helmet. It's got decent noise cancellation. It's fairly quiet. It's not real quiet. I'm still adjusting the audio inside the helmet. So like with phone calls and stuff, I've noticed my earpiece is maybe too far away and I may have to adjust those. But for the most part, man, I really like this helmet. It is made for cruisers and touring. So it has its vent position and its face position is a little bit more, or a little bit more sitting in the upright position rather than sitting in the sport bike position like your Bell Star racing helmets. I believe there's just some slight variations there. But so far, this is my favorite helmet, and I'll actually wear this helmet even when, I'm just kind of riding. If I want to have my phone available, if I want to, have Siri available with Apple CarPlay on the touring bikes, this has become my favorite helmet. So that's our helmet line. What we're probably going to do now is we're going to put on our helmets and go for a little ride, I believe, on our soft tails. and talk about a few things and just kind of wrap this video up.
So we are going to go for a little ride. Take you with us. Sorry, I think I'm a little whistly. But yeah, we did some helmet reviews. I am wearing my Shoei. MrNutt's behind me wearing his Bell, which he does super like. He can't say enough good things about how venting it is. He keeps telling me I should try it on because, again, I'm thinking I have to go back to my 3/4 helmet for the summertime here. So we'll see. So far, my Shoei has been really great. I like it a lot. And for filming, I have to have a full face. So I would like not to have to change helmets, but I don't know. So we'll see.
Yeah,
what do you think,
I mean, you know, it's kind of funny because in looking at the helmets today that we own, we went out and we bought those Schuberths, and we wanted modular because we both like the idea of having modular, but we wanted to have full face coverage because I think comms work better in full face coverage. But neither one of us were really very happy with the ventilation of those helmets at all. I mean, I think they're really good winter helmets.
Yes.
But summers in Oklahoma, when it gets hot and humid, they just, wow, they were killer.
Yeah, I would ride and I would just get so overheated and just, I would feel awful, and then I just like couldn't wait to get off the bike, and that's just no way to ride.
So this Bell Star, I think the DLX and MIPS are just the latest release of the Bell Star. The ventilation, the way this chin vent opens up when you pull that plug on it, it creates like a little breeze around your face. And I've never had a full face helmet that just had this like almost like a little light fan breeze around your face. So I really like that about the helmet. In the wintertime, I'll be able to plug that up and just get the flow up the mask.
Yeah, taking the chin curtain off of my Shoei makes a huge difference. That it gives me just that little bit of air down there, but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough.
Yeah,
like
so
today,
I would kind of like to look at the Bell for you.
Yeah, I'm considering it, even though I feel like I haven't had this helmet that long, and it was not an inexpensive helmet, but it just seems to be how it goes. You got to be comfortable.
But I fear we'll see how the summer progresses.
Yeah, like today it's 88, although the air temperature feels really good, even though it's sunny and bright. It doesn't feel bad riding.
There's a coolness to the air today, which is kind of nice.
It is. It started the day, our temperature started out about 68, which is really great for, end of June. To have these cool mornings where we can open up the house and whatnot is really nice.
So, one of the things, the helmet video is something I've been thinking about doing for a while, and I know it's not an in-depth review. I really just wanted to kind of give a real rider's perspective on how, we've kind of progressed through our helmets and the lessons that we've learned, and some of them in the world of helmets are probably pretty expensive.
Yeah.
But as far as cruising and touring, I'm sold on this helmet. I think it's one of the best helmets it's definitely the best helmet I've ever used. And I've always been kind of a fan of the Bell helmet.
Yeah, I really like the Bell, like the old school Bell. That's like the big white one. I really like. I like it. I don't know that I would ever use it, but I like it. I think that people who do, I think it's a very cool look, like the retro one.
Yeah, they've got some cool retro looking helmets.
Yeah. Yeah, I like a lot of things about Bell. Sorry, I'm gonna be too whistly.
So we're going to get back on our weekly schedule at least. I'd like to probably try and release one video here and there in the middle as we come across them. I'm really happy with the way our audience is growing. Our Facebook audience is really engaged, and it's growing.
And
YouTube, it's very small in the world of YouTubers. But I kind of like the fact that, we get a lot of comments and questions for such a small audience, at least.
So we just rolled through Jinx, which is a cute little town here in Oklahoma. It's just a short ride we kind of take. It's just a loop that goes around. It's got a couple little curvy spots that are fun and a couple people across the river bridges and things like that. So we enjoy this little ride when we just have, 30 minutes to just get out and clear our heads kind of thing.
So one of the last things that we'll do, since we are talking about helmets, see what makes it into this video and what doesn't. But, talk about our motovlog setup and our communication setup. And to make it as brief as possible, our communication setup is separate from our motovlog setup. We communicate through our Cine headsets. We have different headsets for the different bikes that we ride, actually. We have our touring headsets that are the 30K that have mesh intercom for connecting to our touring bikes. And then we have 20S Evos that we use when we're riding our Softails because they connect to our phones and not to the bikes.
We're so connected.
We're very connected. We have separate mics mounted inside our helmets that I've wired up inside of our helmets that sit right next to our comm mics, and those are wired directly into our cameras. Then to sync everything up, we used to do a little clap, or we used to do something so that I could sync all the video up. We now use the GoPro Smart Remote, and basically you pair your cameras with the Smart Remote, you start it up, you let it find all the cameras, and you hit record, and it turns all the cameras that you have paired with it on at the same time. It's accurate enough that I've never had to adjust the footage beyond that. So it makes post-production very, very easy as far as lining up the video and getting the audio in sync. And that's kind of how our system is. It's really a very, very simple system.
Yeah, but it does. It works really well for us, and we get tons of questions about it, and everybody says how good our audio is, and so sharing that with everybody is great.
As we get ready to jump on the freeway here and cross the Arkansas River and wrap this up, we appreciate everybody that comes along on these rides with us and watches our content. Really appreciate those of you who engage and ask questions, and actually we've actually gotten some really good feedback and alternative advice. So we really appreciate that. We try not to ask you to like us and subscribe to us too often. That can become annoying, but MrsNutt with the wrap up.
Yeah, so like he said, thanks for coming along with us. We hope the video was informative, and again, if you have any questions, this was just our opinions and the things we've gone through on helmets. Thanks for coming on a ride. Remember to like us on Facebook,